Well, hi everyone. Osama is here. And if you join me for the first time, my name is Osama. I am a project control consultant and a trainer. I talk about how to succeed in project control and most importantly, what success looks like. If you have just joined me right now, you can introduce yourself in the comments section. Tell us what you do and where you are from so everyone else can know about you as well. Today, I'm gonna take you on a tour inside Power BI, specifically the model relationships, because so many people get confused around it. So I'm gonna try to clarify some of the confusions. And if you have any questions at any point, feel free to write it in the comments section. And it can be related to the topic we have today or any other topic in project control. And if you are watching the recording, feel free to write in the comments section about any specific topics that you want me to cover in future tutorials and live streams, right? So let's get started. Before I switch gears to Power BI, I'm gonna go over a couple of slides to explain what's going on right now. In project control, we have the baseline schedule with all the activities. We have WBS, we have resources, we have activity codes, and we have resources assignments. Each activity has multiple attributes: plan, early start, early finish, late start, late finish, budget, total cost, activity percentage complete, which it changes every week. And we have also the cost assignments. So we have a lot going on. So here is the problem, the key challenge planning engineers face. They think of project control as separate modules. One module for the baseline, one module for the activity codes, one module like the way I show you right now. In reality, everything is one. There is a clear unity in project control. And the better you achieve this unity, the more effective your project control model will be, and the better you do at your project. I think I think it's a part of our conditioning. So I remember myself when I started out my career, I was told that I have to submit the baseline, then update it, then prepare the progress reports, then do the analysis. So I think it's like it's more complicated, right? Because maybe the way Primavera is designed, we have separate modules inside Primavera. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm gonna show you how we can solve this problem inside Power BI. Right? So I'm gonna go over the model because I have talked a lot about the report itself on many occasions. You can go back to my previous posts or YouTube videos or my website, smartpmtraining.com. I have plenty of content around Power BI because I believe it's a game changer. If we go to the model view, that's how my model looks like. At glance, it looks complicated, but it is not. Everything in every model, right? We have a core in a grocery store because Power BI is used in many industries. So if you have a grocery store, for example, the core is the product list and maybe the customer list. It makes sense. What is our core in project control? You start with the core. Our core is the baseline. Without the baseline, there is no project control, or updates or anything like that. So if I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, I know some of you have just joined me right now, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Power BI model. Feel free to introduce yourself in the comments section. Tell us what you do and where you are from, so everyone else can know about you as well. The topic might seem advanced for some of you, but I'm gonna also give you some tips at the end on how you can find your way in the process. That's my baseline and my updates, the store of my updates are my cores. So I have 2 cores in project control, as far as I know, right? And I have also categories of activities based on different natures, because in project control, there is no single nature for the activity. We have multiple natures. For example, one activity can be related to concrete family. It can be, and at the same time, it can be related to the first floor family. At the same time, it can be related to the tower area family, for example. So we have multiple categories. So I would like to show all categories, nearby here. I want also have a provision for the resources assignments. I have here the cost assignments, planned and early and late. I have the early and late distributions of resources assignments. That's another area to look at as well. For cost and resources assignments, I have early and late distributions. I also have the monthly or weekly allocations, as well as the cumulative values as well. If I zoom out a little bit, you can see I'm a big fan of singularity in project control. You can see all the ones here. You see, that's one-to-many relationships. 99% of my model is one-to-many relationship. If I click here, for example, let us open the properties. It's better that way. So you can see one relationship is a single. So let's talk about the cardinality first. So it's many to one or one to many. I rarely have many to many, and you have to be very, very careful when you use many to many. You must have a good reason to do that. Okay, that's a common mistake among planning engineers, who do not understand the foundations of data analytics. I don't know where it comes from, but they think that many to many is a safe option to do, for example, which is not accurate. So I highly recommend one to many and many to one, and which will bring us to the next point. One to many and many to one are related to the keys of the model. So I have primary and the foreign keys. When you look at all queries, you will find that I have activity ID. So in general, I have IDs as my primary keys. I have the activity ID, activity code ID, resource ID. So these are my primary keys. I am also a big fan of a single cross-filter direction. You can see the one-way arrow here. So it's mostly one-to-many, except in some instance, I have both. But I have, so if you are confused and on how to use the cross-filter direction, I'm sure there are plenty of tutorials on YouTube. But as much as possible, I use single because to avoid any conflict in my configurations and the calculations. If I go to the report itself, and let's maybe see the results. So I'm gonna have data dates, different data dates, and if I click on any data date of my choice, so you can see I have multiple schedule updates stored in the model. And I can see the planned versus actual, and the planned value depends on the baseline. So there is a connection between all updates and the baseline. I calculate or I analyze the variance based on both cost and man hours. So clearly there is a connection between the updates, baseline, cost, and man hour assignments. Activities categories, if I click on any activity of my choice, so everything is interactive. So that's the unity of project control. That's the natural way, right? It's not something you have to force or anything like that. So I want you to, like, if you are not using Power BI, you can use Power Pivot or pivot tables in project control as well. It's the same concept. And yeah, I wanna look at all modules as one. I wanna identify my primary and the foreign keys and apply one-to-many cardinality and the single cross-filter direction. Maybe 10 years ago, we thought that this is something impossible to do, but it is not. I believe that you have to start with a mindset. Don't maybe learn the Power BI right away. Don't jump into the advanced techniques of project control. You can start with the foundations. If you get the foundations right, everything will fall into place. It's all about the mindset. You will have the flow when you work, you will have the inspiration, the creativity. It's all mindset. If you don't have the foundations right, it's gonna be tough, to work around that. So I'm gonna go over some of the questions and see if we have any questions. Hi, Darius. It's good to have you. Thank you, Abdul Qadir. Hi to Sam, joining us from Canada. It's good to have you. Hi, Margarito, joining us from the US. Abdul Qadir, can we talk about data normalization? It's a good point. Hopefully we will do a live about it. And if you want, or anyone else can tell us what you want me to talk about specifically about data normalization, because it's a huge area. Do you want me to cover the concepts or something else? Hi, Basiro, it's good to have you joining us from Qatar. Hi, Mahmoud, and hi, Rahim, joining us from Azerbaijan. So you joined us late. Feel free to watch the recording from the beginning. It's available on my LinkedIn. You can go to my LinkedIn profile and you will find the recording. Mahmoud is joining us from Egypt, and I briefly talked about the model. Some people have confusion about it, so I hope that I could clarify the confusion in future sessions. I will cover more about Power BI. It's a bit challenging. I know it was challenging for me at the beginning, so I know that we need to do more work in that area. But I'm glad that it's being used by many planning engineers right now, and that's something because we need to see more of that. We have low productivity in construction projects. The projects are complicated. There are so many pieces that we have to connect. So hopefully project control or Power BI will be one of the solutions. Hi, Jessica, joining us from the US. It's good to have you. All right, and let me know in the comments section if you want me to talk about any specific topics, which I will cover in the future. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.